The Texas horned lizard. Picture a small, spiky lizard sitting in the Texas desert, minding its own business. It looks like a tiny dragon that never got the growth spurt. It's slow, it's not much of a fighter, and it's basically a walking snack for coyotes and foxes. So when a predator corners it, the horned lizard does something no reasonable animal should be able to do. It builds up pressure in the blood vessels around its eyes and fires blood. Not a trickle, a jet. It can shoot blood up to 5 feet, straight at the predator's face. Here's the part that makes it actually work. The blood isn't just gross, it's loaded with chemicals from the lizard's diet, mostly harvester ants, that taste absolutely disgusting to canine predators specific. Dogs, coyotes, foxes. To them, it's like biting into battery acid mixed with old socks. Cats and humans don't react the same way, which tells scientists this defense evolved specifically with dog family predators in mind. And the wildest part? The lizard is doing this on purpose. It ruptures its own tiny blood vessels intentionally to make it happen. It is essentially weaponizing its own bleeding. Is it effective? Documented observations show coyotes literally shaking their heads and backing off after getting hit, sometimes pawing at their own mouths like they just bit into a lemon. For a lizard with basically zero other defenses, that's a pretty solid trick, even if it does look like something out of a horror movie. The hagfish? Now, if the horned lizard's trick sounds intense, meet the hagfish, an eel-shaped, jawless, bottom-dwelling creature that looks like something evolution forgot to finish designing. It's been around for over 300 million years, largely unchanged, which honestly should already tell you it's doing something right. Here's the thing about the hagfish. It doesn't bite, it doesn't sting, it doesn't run. What it does is worse. When a predator, say a shark, grabs it, the hagfish releases slime, but calling it slime undersells it dramatically. It has slime glands running down both sides of its body, and when threatened, it can release enough mucus-forming material to turn a bucket of water into solid goo in less than a second. One hagfish can produce several liters of slime almost instantly. That slime expands massively on contact with water, and it clogs the gills of anything trying to eat it. Sharks have literally had to back off and cough to clear their gills after trying to bite a hagfish. The predator can't breathe, can't swallow, and basically has to give up the meal just to survive the encounter. And here's the punchline nobody expects. The hagfish itself can also get covered in its own slime, so it has to tie itself in a knot and slide the knot down its body just to wipe the goo off and escape. It's the only animal on Earth that has to towel off, using its own body as the towel. The sea cucumber. Okay, this next one sounds fake, but it's very real. Meet the sea cucumber, a slow, squishy, tube-shaped creature that spends its life lying on the ocean floor doing basically nothing threatening to anyone. When a predator attacks it, the sea cucumber has one move, and it's a big one. It ejects its own internal organs out of its body. That's not a typo. Some species will contract their muscles hard enough to rupture their own body wall and expel their intestines, and in some cases, other internal organs directly at the attacker. These expelled organs are sticky, sometimes toxic, and they tangle up around the predator like a net of glue. Scientists call this evisceration, and while it sounds like a worst-case scenario injury, for the sea cucumber, it's a calculated defense. While the predator is dealing with a face full of sticky guts, the sea cucumber just crawls away, slowly. It's not fast at anything, including escaping. And here's the part that makes it not a suicide move. Sea cucumbers can regenerate their internal organs over the following weeks. So it's less ultimate sacrifice and more very expensive distraction. Imagine your emergency plan for a mugging being to physically throw your own stomach at the guy, then grow a new one later. Nature said, sure, why not? The Bombardier Beetle. If sea cucumbers throwing their organs sounds chaotic, the Bombardier Beetle runs actual internal chemistry experiments to defend itself, and it's honestly one of the most studied defense mechanisms in the insect world for a reason. Inside its abdomen, this small beetle has two separate chemical chambers. One holds hydroquinones and hydrogen peroxide, the other holds enzymes. On their own, harmless. But when the beetle is threatened, It mixes them together in a reaction chamber, and that reaction is explosive. Literally, it produces a boiling hot spray reaching close to 100 degrees Celsius right at the boiling point of water. And it doesn't just leak this out, it fires it in rapid, controlled pulses. Scientists have recorded up to 500 pulses per second, aimed with surprising accuracy at whatever's threatening it. The beetle can actually rotate the tip of its abdomen to aim, kind of like a tiny targeting turret. This has actually been studied by engineers, because a beetle managing to create a controlled internal explosion without blowing itself up is, frankly, more impressive than most human-made pressure systems. Predators that get hit report getting burned and doused in caustic chemicals in the same instant, and they let go almost immediately. Effective doesn't even begin to cover it. The Turkey Vulture. Now here's a defense that requires zero physical skill and maximum willingness to be disgusting. The Turkey Vulture, common across North and South America, already eats dead, rotting animal carcasses for a living, so its baseline is already pretty rough. But when threatened, it takes things further. It vomits. On purpose. Directly at the threat. And this isn't regular vomit. It's a mix of extremely acidic, partially digested carrion, and the smell alone is enough to make most predators reconsider their life choices. The acid can also cause irritation if it makes contact. So a predator gets a face full of rotting meat acid vomit, which is exactly as effective a deterrent as it sounds. But here's the clever bonus feature. Vultures are heavy birds, and takeoff isn't their strong suit. By vomiting, they instantly lighten their body weight, which makes it easier for them to take off quickly and fly away from danger. So it's a 2-in-1 defense. Gross the predator out and get a free weight loss boost for a faster getaway. Efficient, if nothing else. The Fulmar Seabird. Sticking with the let's just throw up on our problems theme, apparently birds really committed to this strategy. We've got the Fulmar, a seabird found across the North Atlantic and Southern Ocean. At first glance, Fulmars look kind of like gulls. Harmless, cute even. But mess with a Fulmar chick and you're going to regret it. The bird will projectile vomit a thick, oily substance, produced in its stomach from digested fish and other marine life, straight at whatever's threatening, and it can hit targets from a fair distance. Here's why this is actually one of the nastier defenses on this list. That oil isn't just smelly, it's genuinely dangerous to other birds. It mats down feathers and destroys their waterproof. For a seabird, waterproof feathers are life or death. They need them for insulation and buoyancy. A bird of prey hit with Fulmar oil can lose its ability to fly properly, become unable to stay warm, and in documented cases, has actually died from hypothermia or starvation afterward because it could no longer hunt or fly. So this isn't just get out of my face. For some predators, it's an actual death sentence delivered by a seemingly harmless-looking seabird. Nature's way of saying don't judge a bird by its cute little face. The wood frog. Let's shift from projectile bodily fluids to something that sounds almost peaceful in comparison, except it's arguably the most extreme thing on this list. The wood frog, found across North America, survives winter by freezing solid. Like, actually solid. As temperatures drop, ice starts forming inside the frog's body. Its heart stops beating, its breathing stops completely, blood stops flowing. By every normal biological measure, this frog is dead. Up to 60% of the water in its body can turn to ice. Here's how it survived. The frog's liver floods its body with glucose, acting like a natural antifreeze that protects its cells from being shredded by ice crystals forming inside. The ice forms in the spaces between cells, not inside them, which is the difference between frozen solid and destroyed. Then, when spring comes and temperatures rise, the frog thaws. Its heart starts beating again on its own. Breathing resumes. Within hours, it's hopping around like nothing happened. Now technically, this isn't a defense against a predator. It's a defense against something way bigger, death by winter itself. Scientists have studied this extensively because understanding how the wood frog does this could one day help with human organ preservation for transplants. So somewhere out there, a frog casually dying and coming back to life every winter might end up saving human lives someday. No pressure, frog. The termites. And to round things out, let's talk about termites. because it turns out ants aren't the only insects who figured out that exploding is a legitimate life strategy. In several termite species, certain soldier termites develop specialized glands packed with a thick, glue-like secretion. When the colony's tunnels are breached by an invading predator, usually ants, these soldiers position themselves at the point of the breach and, just like the exploding ant, rupture their own bodies. The glue-like substance released doesn't just stick to the attacker, it can seal off the tunnel entirely, physically blocking other invaders from getting through. So one termite's self-destruction becomes a literal wall, protecting the rest of the colony behind it. What's remarkable here is how coordinated it is. This isn't random panic. It's a specific, dedicated caste of termite whose entire biological purpose is to plug tunnels with their own exploded body if the day calls for it. Scientists studying termite colonies describe this as one of the clearest examples of self-sacrifice for the collective good found anywhere in the insect world. So next time someone says termites are just annoying pests chewing through your house, remember, some of them are also fully prepared to blow themselves up defending it. Somewhere, there's a termite that considers that a fair trade.